Hey guys, welcome to the video. In this video, we'll see 6 important tips for prompting your AI voice agents. Now, it doesn't matter which kind of AI voice agents that you're building. It could be appointment setting, it could be customer order taking. This tips are going to save you hours of time in prompting your voice agent. So let's go one by one. Now, the tip number one is structuring your prompt properly. Now, to structure your prompt, you need a framework. So that framework is role, task, specifics, context, examples, and persona. And I also want to mention one more thing is that you need to include subsections. For example, in the task section, we may have different tasks, right? Like let's say, booking appointments, taking orders, and responding to inquiries. So you need to make sure that you include that as a subsection, not just as, just an information in the prompt. So I'll give you an example for that, okay? So as you can see here, under task specifics, we made sure that we included subsections. So this is task one and this is task two. And under this section, we have some more subsections: objective, required, information, process flow. So similarly, whenever you're creating a prompt, you need to make sure that you have sections and subsections. And most importantly, you need to make sure that you create a prompt in markdown language format. You cannot directly, just paste or use this format in your prompt. So if you use this format, the AI makes sure, the AI understands it better and it transforms into this format. So just so you know, markdown language format. And we'll go to tip number two. Yeah, most importantly, very important tip is implementing guardrails. So why do you need to do that? I mean, I'm assuming most of you know this, but just to make sure we don't miss out. First thing, if you don't implement guardrails, what will happen is, let's say, somebody asks regarding, let's say you created a voice agent for a restaurant and you didn't give any information regarding parking or anything. And this happened to me in real. So a customer calls and asks, "Hey, do you have parking?" And the AI voice agent responds, "Yeah, we do have parking availability." Although you didn't mention in the prompt, it said that. So for that reason, you need to make sure that you implement these guardrails, and also, to make sure that the AI doesn't, if you do have any sensitive information in the prompt, so it doesn't, tell the customers about that, and make sure that the AI only respond to what it's needed, not going out of the way. And also, customers sometimes they try to break the AI, and they want to just have fun with it, right? If we implement these guardrails, it we make sure that the AI stays on topic and doesn't deviate from it. So just a small tip. Make sure you note it down. Okay, now tip number three is mastering data time handling. Now, the first and foremost thing you need to remember here is the AI doesn't have a clock, or the LLM doesn't have a clock. So it doesn't know when you ask, "Hey, what is the time?" and it will give you incorrect times. So for that, we need to make sure that we include a reference time for it. So in your prompt, you need to make sure you add this sentence giving it as a reference. So whenever you ask, it'll have a reference and give you an answer according to that. Now, the problem here is, although I used this reference time, I had the problem. I never came across someone having the same problem, but this is something that I had, is that although it does have the reference time, it will not parse the future times properly. So we implemented this AI voice agent at a restaurant. Now, when customers used to call and ask, "Hey, I need a reservation on Tuesday at 11 o'clock," although the restaurant is closed on at that time, it used to proceed. It used to go ahead for the next step. Now, what I tried, using different methods, but the problem I felt was it was not parsing the date and time properly. So what I did is I put the entire business calendar for the next month. So from January 1 to January 30, I put January 1 is open, January 2 is closed, January 3 is open, January 4 is closed, like that. So I put the entire calendar month for that business, for that restaurant. So it was easy for the AI to check and then give a confirmation to the customer. So that is the method that I use. But the problem with this is the prompt length increases. I mean, if your prompt length is smaller, you can do this. But let's say you already have a bigger prompt length, and there are a lot many instruction and tasks for the AI agent to do. Including this, it will bloat the prompt, and what will happen is the AI may hallucinate. So that's a problem. The other thing that you can do is use a dedicated tool. Like you can you can do the tool calling whenever somebody asks for a time, whenever somebody asks for an appointment, uh, and especially when they ask for a time, 10 a.m. tomorrow. So you can use a function called in the meet.com or in it, and use any tool like ChatGPT, or if you want, you can use time specific APIs to make sure that the AI responds correctly. So that's the other solution that you have. So don't just go by this. Use the reference time first. If it doesn't work, try adding the calendar reference. If it doesn't work, I mean, it works unless if your prompt is too big. I recommend not to use. I recommend using a dedicated tool for confirming the time properly. Now, tip number 4, capturing contact information correctly. Now, I want you to understand this. It's not just a problem with the AI. Humans also do this. Let's say you call a customer agent, like a human receptionist, and say, hey, my name is, let's say very complex name. Let's say Kulakarni Muthuswamy. Just a random example, right? Uh, the person may not know the spelling of the name. So what they do, they ask a spelling. Similarly, and you cannot expect the AI to just know the name or the email right, especially when it comes to complex names. So we have two solutions here. One is, once the customer tells the name, we can ask the AI agent to repeat the name. And once it does that, let's see, the name is not correct. Now we can ask, this is a second solution. We can ask the customer to spell their names. So, I mean, this is the normal flow, the humans also use while making a reservation or an appointment. So we can use the same flow here to make sure we capture the names and email correctly. And next is phone numbers. This is relatively easier. So what happens is, generally the AI agent, when the customer sees the phone number, the AI agent repeats the phone number at one go. It says 433477558. Instead of that, you need to make sure you add in the prompt saying that break the phone number into three parts, which is 433 and a pause, 477 and a pause, 7558. Just add that prompt. It works great. Uh, so that is tip number 4. Now, tip number 4, a very useful one. Let's say you are running a Chinese restaurant or an Indian restaurant. We know that there are some names in those menu items which are complex to pronounce and complex to understand as well. So what we can do is, we need to do we need to firstly we need to identify the keywords that are in the menu or in the business or anywhere, and make sure that you put it in the prompt. but you put it in a prompt in a phonetic way so that the AI understands. We also have this section called key terms. In VAPI, if you're using VAPI, we have this section called key terms where you can put these complex words. So next time when a person calls and says chicken tikka masala, where exactly it is as chicken tikka masala, even if they mispronounce it a little bit wrong, the AI voice agent understands it properly. So adding those key terms in your prompt or in the section key term section is very important, especially if you are running a restaurant like this and have complex words in the business. So that's tip number 5. Now, tip number 6, and very important tip, is testing your AI agents very thoroughly. When you are just creating voice agents and trying to see, what's working and not, it's fine. But when you're creating a production level agent, when you're implementing it to a real business, testing is very important because we cannot afford to make mistake, when you implement it for a business. So here are 3 things here. I mean, the process that I generally follow is, or anybody in the industry generally follows, before implementing the AI agent, you test it with the staff there. You uh, provide the phone number to the business owner or the staff, and they have the conversation, and then you test it. In this testing, we have 2 methods. One is manual testing, and the other one is automated testing. So the manual testing, what you do is you basically listen to recordings and see where exactly it's making errors or where exactly it's having trouble, any kind of issues. So that's one, manual testing. And secondly is automated testing. And for this, I use Langfuse. I made a separate video on this, how to use the Langfuse software and how to test the AI voice agent in that. So go check it out. It's very useful. So, but to give you a brief idea, what you can do in that software is that you basically ask the AI voice agent itself where exactly, okay, why exactly the issues happening and what's the fix for it, and it's a very seamless way to find a solution. You don't, it saves time and also money. Uh, if you use that way, but feel free to check it out. I clearly mentioned it in a 20-minute video, so feel free to check out. And third is you monitor the AI voice agent. I mean the results thoroughly, like you monitor it regularly. Um, at least that's how I do. At least 1 to 2 days, I listen to the conversations and make sure that the flow is the flow is good, and if there is any issues, uh, you fix it. That's it. Uh, and that's it, guys. These are the 6 steps I think that are very important when you're creating your voice agent. And if you think there are any other important tips I missed, please make sure that you mention it in the comment section. And if you do have any other doubts, let me know. And again, put it in the comments. I'll respond to those questions. All right. And that's it. Have a great day. Bye bye.